I love my job and I could do it for free. I'm not being dramatic. I actually mean that. I'm a cybersecurity architect and I've done it for years now. And I could genuinely work day in, day out without being paid and still find a way to enjoy it. And about a year ago, I sat down at my desk and felt absolutely nothing. And I figured it's not because I was burnt out, it was not because I was sad. I think it just felt flat after a point. So I did what everyone tells you to do. I blamed my phone for it. So I went into doing an experiment. 7 days without it and I filmed this whole thing. And I can safely tell you already, it didn't quite fix it. And figuring out why it didn't fix it is what actually explains this entire topic. So it's not the phone, it's not necessarily just the dopamine. I think it's something else entirely. Here's the thing no one actually says about a detox. The point isn't that your phone is evil. It's none of that. The point is that you need to be bored for a little bit. You need to sit there with nothing else coming in, and you need to do this long enough to hear exactly what it is that you want to hear. When something's always running, a feed, a notification, anything else in the background, you never get the chance to be bored. So if it's not your phone, it's your job. And if it's not your job, it's probably your social commitments. And there's then life after that. So there's always something in the background that keeps grabbing your attention. So the 7 days actually gave me quiet. And I then figured the problem was not necessarily or never was actually just the noise. Or not entirely at least. The realization was that I was done with the learning. Not saying I'm the expert in my field, or am I saying that? Stay tuned. I'd been doing the job long enough that I'd finished it. And I'm not saying finished as in there's nothing left to do for me in this company. There's actually plenty to do, there's always plenty to do. That's not the point. I guess finished as in there was nothing left in it that I didn't know how to handle. And I guess that was sort of the inflection point. And at that moment, I understood that the flatness stopped feeling like something was wrong with me and started more feeling like it was just informational. And it was sort of a cue for me to shift to doing something else, shift to doing different things and spice things up, I suppose. So you're probably not lazy, you're probably not broken, and your brain is, I think, doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. It stops paying full attention to stuff that it already knows, it's already comfortable with, and what it considers to be solved. That's not a defect. Quite the contrary, that's exactly the feature of how the brain works. So to sort of elaborate on this whole feeling, on my personal experiences and feeling, the so-called flat, not just feeling anything much anymore, I guess manifested itself wherein I realized I have the whole conversation without actually being actively involved in it. That's the part that confused me for the longest bit. That took me a little bit to figure out. So it wasn't a bad job. Like I said, I would do it for free. It's still not. So if the flatness came from bad life, mine wouldn't have gone flat. So I guess that ain't it either. So 7 days of quiet, and the quiet just sat there, because quiet isn't the thing you are actually missing, if that makes any sense. Quiet is just a room. Something still has to happen in the room. Hopefully you can get the analogy here. And look, sometimes it helps and sometimes it just doesn't. I'm not going to sit here to pretend and preach that sitting quiet in a room will crack and bring solutions to the problem all the time. Not really, because there are times when I've put my phone away, locked myself in the room and just gotten out annoyed. And it necessarily didn't nurture boredom, and that boredom necessarily didn't sort of nurture anything significant, as we sort of spoke about a couple of seconds ago. So it's none of that, but sometimes it's just you sitting there getting annoyed and coming out of it, because you're only human, not expected to be pitch perfect all the time. You could break your phone, you could put that away, lock it and put it into another island. You'd still find a way to be distracted. It's not that hard, trust me. Distraction is everywhere, it's around us, and it's all the time. It's perpetual distraction all the time. So the phone, no phone, don't matter. Because the thing that's actually missing, something that I missed out, isn't really quiet, it's just intention. If you don't have a reason to move from point A to point B, then it just doesn't matter what you're handed. You could be given a rocket and the fuel to go with it, and you'd still sit there because you don't think you needed to move in the first place. So hopefully that makes sense. Breaking your phone or putting it away doesn't make you move, it just gets you faster once you've decided that you needed to move in the first place. And this is key. And here's what I got wrong about intention for the longest, and something through my own practices, because I thought it was something I can talk myself into. I don't think it works that way, and it necessarily hasn't worked for me. So if it does for you, good for you. I think having intention is actually going to places where you actually haven't been, or you actually have some sort of a natural baby instinct that draws you to it. And maybe that something isn't exactly what you're doing at this very moment. So I want you to pay very close attention to what I just said. Sometimes you need to sit still, be bored to realize these callings and pay attention to them. And ultimately, in some sort of philosophical sense, the question stops becoming, how do I get more, or how do I want things more, to it was what's left that I haven't done. So the fix isn't less. It's something you're bad at, and it's something that you want to be good at. A challenge, basically. Or like I said, it's that one thing that has a natural sort of gravitational pull on you. That's where you want to be focusing at. Not a hobby you're already decent at. I guess that won't do you much good anyway, but something where you've identified yourself genuinely to be incompetent, and it actually bothers you that you are. I guess that's the sweet spot. That's sort of the activity you need to pick. And mine was this. I've always fancied myself as someone who could communicate very well, speak well, convince people, and use good vocabulary and tongue. I never once paid attention to it though. I always thought it was natural to me. So I started a YouTube channel thinking it was all gonna go good. And I quickly found out that I was terrible at it. And to give you context, I'm a trained engineer, I'm meticulous, and I guess that's my whole job. I'm a much better architect than I am a YouTuber, and not even remotely close. So monumental differences in the expertise here. But I sit in front of this camera and I watch myself stumble, and I'm more humiliated than I've actually been at almost anything else. Because speaking my ideas is one of the things that I always thought I never struggled with, and suddenly it was something different. Retake after retake after retake. What takes someone 2 days takes me 15. After the 15 days of work, a few hundred views to sort of top it all off. This is where I found myself to be, but I'm still doing it. And I guess that's what I want you to take out of this. This is not a motivational piece, but I actually want you to sit with this thought for just a second here. I'm still doing it because for the first time in years, there's something in my week that I actually haven't solved, nor have I figured out. And I'm kind of looking forward to fix the hell out of this. And it turns out that's the whole thing that I was missing. That's what I was missing out on. Not stimulation, not quiet, not a better morning, not better routines, just something I'm not finished with and I'm not finished learning. It's the least bored I've been in a very long time, and I'm objectively bad at whatever I'm doing over here. So if nothing else feels fun anymore, you probably don't need less input. I just think you need something you're allowed to be bad at and you have a pursuit to improve on. And at the very least, I think I want you to take this as a perspective to what can cure this whole boredom and flatness in life. If you feel otherwise, I'm sure there's more ways to perceive and sort of make sense of all of this, but this is a perspective that's helped me personally the most. Anytime I jump to doing something that I am not naturally good at, or something that naturally holds me to doing. For example, I thought I was good at speaking, but it turns out that when I actually started doing this out, I figured that I wasn't as good, and I naturally felt like I wanted to be improving on this. Picking that one thing is actually harder than it sounds. I completely acknowledge and understand that because I've been trying to do this for years now. Most people's first instinctive move is to sort of pick the thing that they're half decent at. And I guess it doesn't really count to what we already spoke, but if it floats your boat, it does. So I made a free one-pager that walks you through exactly finding out things that you're sort of bad at, I want to say. Plus, it also allows a way for you to log that information. So this isn't about finishing, it's about sort of saying unsolved in this context. It's completely free, links in the description. I highly recommend it. I use it myself. Do check it out. It's completely free, so you can download it. But here's what this channel actually is all about, if you haven't really figured it out just yet. It's not a motivation piece. It's not a productivity channel. It's not necessarily also a tech channel. It's just someone who's supposed to be good at problem solving, but publicly failing at a new one every single week, on camera in front of all of you. If that's a room you want to sit in, do hit that subscribe button. Not because I'm going to fix somehow all your flatnesses for you. I probably won't be able to do that, but simply because watching me or watching someone stay bad at something on purpose is weirdly the most useful content and thing that you can be watching right now, because hopefully that nudges you to continue and pursue the same. You probably need to allow yourself to fail more often, not necessarily in public like me, that's a little extreme, but I would highly recommend doing it anyways, because that's what's going to pull you out of that boredom and sort of get you back to getting a little more excited. But thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.